My name is James Francis, hosting this webinar, which is sponsored today by ITWeb Cybersecurity and ITWeb. We have a couple of experts coming up a bit later, as usual, to give us a run-through, a presentation, looking at trends there, as well as how you can improve security operations in your organization or offer them to other organizations with ITWeb. This is what we're going to be unpacking today. We are going to look at how do you improve your security posture of limited resources, how do you integrate and manage your security tools, how do you quantify cyber risk for your business, also what are the risks out there, what should you be thinking about, how do you prioritize, because not all cyber risks and cybercrime risks are the same.
There's multiple sort of aspects to it. There's little short videos, like 3-minute videos on, for instance, phishing, right? This is what to look out for. This is what could happen. So there's the videos, and they typically come out every 2 weeks. And then we do simulation-based exercises as well. Send our mails, who clicks on it, try and understand where there's certain gaps in the environment to try and address that. But it's a constantly evolving sort of landscape. So a lot of the time, a tool just gives you a report, whereas you can then build this back into that concierge team and actually understand where we can potentially customize the training to make sure that we're addressing some of the requirements for the business.
But remember, we've got multiple sources of detection, and it's all around covering the entire attack surface. So if you looked at that ransomware incident timeline, there were 3 sources of detection that we used there. We used essentially the ITWeb sensor was one of the detection sources. Our integration into Active Directory through our API is another source of detection. And then lastly, our agent. The ITWeb platform's got to build signal across all these sources of detection. And only once it's built up the signal and it's determined that this is a potential threat, is it going to notify the security team, and the security analysts will then investigate that. But we do have an SLA. So from the time we detect a cyber attack or a bad actor within an organization, we have a 30-minute SLA to respond with a ticket to the end customer.
The whole value of ITWeb is to make sure that we are an open extended detection response architecture, that we can take on board a lot of the traditional tools that you have in place, like 40 or something to that aspect, and provide that single overview of what's happening in your environment. I think far too many times it's a case of, okay, you've got to remove that to put this in. And we've actually built a solution set to make sure we can integrate with what customers have today.
We're not going to push any specific product at a customer. We're going to work with the existing tool set.
It's not that we don't have the means to stop the criminals. It's just a difficult thing to do. It's challenging, but it is very possible. It is very affordable. Please reach out to ITWeb, find out more. With that, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is James Francis. I was your host today for this webinar, sponsored by ITWeb Cybersecurity as well as ITWeb. Have a great afternoon further, and thank you very much.